Mr. President and colleagues, education is a subject matter that is very close to my own heart personally, not just as a public representative, but also as a teacher for many years. And as I sit before you today, I am reminded of the words of the great philanthropist and educator Vera Foster, who wisely said that a nation's greatness depends upon the education of its youth. In every age, this essential connection between education and the welfare of the nation has been identified from Aristotle to Vera Foster. At times of adversity and crisis, exactly what Europe faces now, the power and potential of education has been invoked as an agent of renewal. It is appropriate and timely, therefore, that we rethink education collectively so that the knowledge and skills that Europe needs to compete on the world economy are developed. Unfortunately, we are living during very difficult times, and it's particularly difficult for our young people. Europe is experiencing unacceptably high levels of unemployment. Youth unemployment rates are about 25% across the EU. More than 70 million Europeans have only low or no formal qualifications, and about 14% of pupils in the EU are leaving school after lower secondary level. These figures exist at a time when we were also told that over 2 million job vacancies remain unfilled, but equally when our education and training systems are coming under pressure due to the perilous state of public finances. Education and training are fundamental to help us emerge from the crisis that Europe is currently in. However, in welcoming the communication, the draft opinion adds a word of caution by suggesting to the European Commission and to the Member States that account needs to be taken of the broader role of education so that it is not just focused on growth and competitiveness and developing economic proto-units, but that it also has a clear emphasis on personal development, citizenship and well-being. A holistic and integrated vision of education is required along the lines of Delors' 4 pillars of learning: to know, to do, to be and to live together. Education should liberate, stimulate and inform the individual as well as embracing our individuality. Given the context within which this rethinking of education is taking place, some immediate action is required, and the recent agreements by the Member States on the Youth Guarantee and the Youth Employment Initiative are very welcome. The objectives of this communication, while no less urgent, are more medium-long term and aim to help Member States make informed and evidence-based policy decisions and suggest 3 areas that require necessary reforms, namely quality, accessibility and funding. I will not go into detail on these now or the various points in the draft opinion, except to highlight 5 key issues. Firstly, the draft opinion in welcoming the proposed shift in education policy to learning outcomes underlines that a core role and challenge of education systems must be to create the conditions for continuous learning, with the necessary investments required for lifelong learning. It underscores the importance of balancing flexibility and autonomy with transferability and mutual recognition of qualifications across European regions and countries. We share the opinion that we need to attract a broader cross-section of society into education and training, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups, and deploy the resources to meet this challenge. Secondly, the draft opinion also recognises the efforts required in developing transversal skills, as well as new skills for the knowledge and innovation economies. Too often, curriculum development at second level is focused on acquiring information rather than focusing on the learning of key skills and developing skills to deal with and navigate one's way through this world. Critical and creative thinking, communication, information processing, being personally effective and working with others are all skills that are required. These transversal skills are developed so that young people in education can be prepared for life and different employment opportunities and challenges as they arise. It is also clear that the essential first step must be that foundation or basic skills must be achieved by all so that nobody is left behind. My third point is that skills have become the global currency of the 21st century. Without proper investment in skills, people languish on the margins of society. The opinion has significant attention on entrepreneurial skills, vocational training and language skills. And while there have been discussions on these in the past, the experiences and results across the Member States are mixed. So we are suggesting some actions for improvement on these skills, matching skills training with individual people, ensuring that people are treated as individuals and that learning plans are developed for them according to their specific needs. Fourthly, the draft opinion is very supportive of making connections between informal and non-formal learning and formal education, and there is a specific section on this. We do need to look outside the classroom. As Mark Twain said, "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education." The use of standardised testing across the EU is a major hurdle to overcome if the education systems are to be remodelled in favour of developing skills for employment and for life. This needs to be addressed. It is a problem that the use of the curriculum to develop these skills is left to the discretion of teachers, with the overwhelming emphasis on gaining points for entry into third level by scoring highly in state exams. The focus of a teacher's work is almost always on output of information, while the focus of a learner's work is on retention of information. My last point, finally, is that the opinion focuses on the need to better develop collaborative efforts in order to achieve more effective and more responsive educational systems. Teachers face rapidly changing demands which require a new set of competence for teachers, teacher educators and education leaders. We need to do more in the area of how to best identify and promote great teaching in conjunction with local and regional authorities, as well as local businesses and industry. Obviously, there is a need to respect legal frameworks and competences, but at the same time, there is room for mutual learning and stronger partnerships. There is a serious weakness at present in European education and training systems, and matters have been made worse as the economic downturn has led many Member States to cut funding for education and training. In this regard, education needs to come back to the top of the priorities of governments and the private sector, and to be seen as the fundamental mechanism for attaining sustainable economic development and societal progress. More than ever, the world needs effective global leaders and stronger educational systems that prepare the current and future generations of entrepreneurs, workers, teachers, managers and individuals with the skills needed to succeed and to help others. While we are gathered here to debate an agenda for new skills and jobs, we must be careful not to see investment in education solely to enhance economic productivity in Europe. We must have investment in young people's creativity, life skills, transversal skills, cultural education and kinesthetic skills. It is not just important but vital to have totally inclusive policies so we create nations of thought leaders, enterprising and empathetic, eminently appointable and equally promotable. I will finish my introduction there, Mr. President, but I would like to thank those members that have taken the time to submit amendments to the text. I will be proposing to accept most of these, and I've also tried to find compromises for others in the form of rapporteur amendments. I would also like to thank those members, especially on the EDUC Commission, who provided me with inputs and suggestions which were very valuable during the drafting phases. Finally, I would like to thank my expert, Peter Hussey, for his support and advice, the EDUC Secretariat for their assistance, as well as my group and delegation colleagues for their ongoing support. I leave you with the powerful visionary words of Nelson Mandela: education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Gurv Mila Mahagat. Thank you.